Heartbreak. Our last tournament ended in disappointment. We flew through the pool play, only to fall short in the semifinals, and then again in the bronze medal match. 4th place. No podium, no hardware. For weeks we've been training, grinding, preparing for the next challenge. And now, that tournament is here. This is a DUPR 10 event. That means you and your partner's DUPR must be at 10 or below. This is high level, fast paced, unforgiving pickleball. There are 16 teams, 2 pools of 8, and every match counts. We'll face everyone in our pool once, and those results will determine the seeding for the playoff rounds. Looking at the DUPR ratings of our pool, Mitch and I are the 5th ranked team. We have an average DUPR rating of 4.87, with mine being 5.18 and Mitch's being 4.56. But I know we can finish even higher than that. This is the test we've been preparing for. The nerves are high, the margins are razor thin. Will we rise to the occasion or fall short once again? Stay tuned to find out. This is the Rise to 5-5. For game 1, I didn't have a very good camera angle. As you can see, it's way too far down, so really you can only see part of the kitchen. So I'm just going to show you a couple of kitchen points here. The team that we are playing is Gordon and Eric. They're a really solid team. Eric is a great dinker. He's one of the best players in the area, just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, has really good hands, really good footwork. And Gordon is someone who has given us some trouble in the past. Doesn't do anything too crazy, but just makes a lot of balls and makes us make mistakes. For some reason in this match, just had a lot of nerves that I don't usually have in tournaments anymore. I feel like I didn't really play my best game. We were in the game early, and then we just kind of made a lot of mistakes. I wasn't on my toes. I wasn't getting some of the counters that I normally get. I was missing a lot of resets. I was kind of struggling with the drive all day this day. So I hit a bunch of shots into the net in this game. And then after that, I just kind of decided to mostly abandon the drive for the rest of the day. So they outplayed us, and unfortunately we lost this one 11-5. Probably our worst game of the day. Just didn't play very well. Hit a lot of balls out. Wasn't seeing the ball super well either. And that's just how it goes sometimes, unfortunately. But kudos to this team. They ended up making a really deep run in the tournament, and they got a bronze medal, so good for them. Game 2, on the other hand, was a completely different story. We played Brian and Aaron, who I have seen their name a lot in tournaments, but I've never actually matched up against either one of them. I think we kind of flipped a switch from game 1, came out firing fast in game 2, and we really took it to them. The drive was back, it was working, we were hitting hard, closing fast, putting points away, and we end up with a pickle. Winning 11-0, putting us back on track, and 1-1 through 2 games. In game 3, we played Clinton and Casey. These are a couple of players that we know very, very well. We play a lot of rec games against them, so we're pretty familiar with their games. Even in this tournament, to warm up, we played a warm-up game against them, which I wouldn't recommend playing a warm-up game against your pool opponents, but we won that warm-up game 11-2, came out firing, but of course, your warm-up doesn't always indicate how your tournament will go. Started this game with a couple of bad footwork, dink mistakes by me, popping some dinks a little bit too high, getting Mitch hit. Sorry, Mitch. And then they had a body bag, which he couldn't get out of the way of. But overall, it was pretty close early on, pretty tight. We went back and forth for a while. And then we started to make some mistakes, and they started to pull away, beating us to 6 first for the side switch. They had some strong points and a couple of missed returns and volleys long by our team, and soon we're looking at an 8-3 deficit. We had a couple of strong points to get back to 6, but then another missed return by me, and we were soon in a 10-6 hole. However, we didn't give up and we kept fighting, and soon the score was level, 10-10. We just needed one more point to win the match, and of course, I drove it into the net. And then we had an opportunity to get the ball back, and we missed an overhead, falling 11-10. We now had a 1-2 record in the pool, and in our next match, we faced the top seeded opponent, Edgar and Marshall. This is another team that we know pretty well. Marshall is a longtime pickleball friend of ours, and Edgar has his own YouTube channel. Be sure to check him out at Easy Pickleball. But these guys, they're good players, so we knew we had our work cut out for us. Our game plan was to mostly drop the ball, get to the kitchen line at a high percentage, and just dig them out. See if we can outlast them, get them moving around, looking for a pop-up, or forcing an impatient speed-up, and using our hands to counter. And that's exactly what we did. We patiently waited for opportunities to attack, hitting little pokes on high balls, speeding up popped up dinks. We stayed in it and didn't let the other team get too far ahead. The score remained close, trading points back and forth for a while until we were at 3-3. A couple of mistakes by our team, and our opponents had a 5-3 lead, but we didn't let it get much higher than that. We kept our hands strong, countering every speed up until we battled back to tie the game at 5 apiece. Marshall and Edgar had some nice speed ups and good points to beat us to the side switch and then take an 8-5 lead. But we were determined to stay in it, not letting their lead get much bigger. And we brought it all the way back to 8 points each. Kept playing our game, dinking, looking for pop-ups, speeding up when appropriate, and eventually it paid off. We won the game 11-9, and our record improved to 2-2 in the pool. Unfortunately, my phone was running low on battery, so I didn't record any more of the pool games. But we continued our positive momentum from Game 4 and won Game 5 11-3. We then dropped a close match to the team that finished first in the pool 11-8 after being tied at 8-8. And finally, we lost our last match to another team that was one of the top 3 rated in our pool. Overall, we finished 5th in the pool, going 3-4. Unfortunately, we didn't have our best stuff, and it showed as we lost some close matches. We finished right where we were ranked coming into the pool, and we would go on to face the 4th place team in the other pool, Roger and Christian. Roger is currently on the Northern Illinois University tennis team. He's a lefty, and he hits absolute missiles. So our game plan was mostly to hit the ball more to Christian because he has less offense to hurt us with and less speed overall, and kind of make Roger dink more often because he's kind of newer to pickleball. But he's a good up-and-coming player, and his soft game was a lot better than I anticipated. I feel like I wasn't really split-stepping very well in this game. It seemed like I was on my heels a lot of the time and just a little bit late to react to some of the balls. I hit a couple out, and then we got this absolute hook of a call by Christian. Didn't let the bad call or the headshot bother us too much. They beat us to the side switch, but then we battled back and got the score even at 6. Unfortunately, after that, it became the Roger show. We just really struggled to handle his pace. Looking back on this, I don't know why we didn't hit more to his backhand or even more aggressively to Christian's side, but he really blistered these drives and followed them up with a lot of pace, and it was just too much to handle at the time. He went on a hot streak, and it was the difference in the game. we lost this one, unfortunately, 11-7. We didn't quite have the tournament we were hoping for. We finished the day 3-5 with a losing record, but there was a couple of points that could have gone our way to make things differently. Fortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes. We didn't have our best stuff, and we couldn't use our B game to end up on top of some of our opponents. The good news is there's always another tournament. There's always another day. So in the meantime, we're going to continue to keep practicing, keep getting better, take away from some of the mistakes that we made in this one, and have better results next time. So looking at the final standings, Marshall and Edgar won it all, having a historic run through the playoffs. The team that we beat in a close match, 11-9. And the entire semifinals was also from our pool. So it was a really tough group. And unfortunately, we weren't on the medal stand this time. Thanks for watching. This has been episode 4 of the Rise to 5-5.